Hello. This is the road. Whoa, my bad. This is the Rainbow Six Siege 6 Invitational group stages prediction with Heckerator and Gray Tiger and Endo. Um,
Sup?
yeah, you guys can introduce yourselves or say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Sup?
You guys probably should say like who's who. So,
I'm Gray Tiger.
I'm Endo.
all right, dope.
Can we redo that, honestly?
No,
Go
dude, we're
back from
going.
the
We're
beginning.
we're no, we're going through. All right, they need to see how professional we are.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they're gonna see.
All right, my goal is to not say but I'm bad at not. I'm bad at saying so I'll try not to. But we'll go start with the Group A. Shoot, Gray. Who do you have making out of Group A and why?
I would say out of Group A, I'm thinking Fnatic and FaZe.
Okay.
I would
Any
say
particular
the
reason?
reason I don't really know a whole lot about the teams in Group A, but I would say when I watched Fnatic, when I first discovered them, I was pretty surprised by their skill level. So I just want to say that they'll probably make it out. And then
Okay.
for FaZe, they're just obviously a well-rounded team and a very large org.
That's respectable. And who do you think will make it out of Group A?
I'm gonna have to go with Fnatic and Reciprocity.
Ah,
Fnatic, due to the fact that they have been performing well in APAC in
true.
general, and Reciprocity because, of course, old Cloud9. But other
Yeah.
than that, they have
That
been
is true.
performing extremely well in NA.
I might have
If
to
they
say
keep performing
Reciprocity.
if they keep performing at the
You're
same level
already
that they were
turning
in
it back.
NA, yeah, if they keep
Stick to
performing
your
at the
guns,
same level
Gray.
that they were in NA, then
Uh-huh.
I have no doubt that they will at least get second in the group.
All right. I respect that. I'm also picking. Well, wait, you're not picking. No, no, no. I'm actually. So we're all gonna have something different. I'm doing
Oh,
phase
okay.
and reciprocity.
Okay.
Phase. I mean, they're just so good at everything. Even though they're struggling right now in Latin America Pro League, I'm pretty sure they're only like fifth right now in Pro League in Latin America. But I think they've established that they're one of the best teams in the world. And
On multiple
reciprocity,
occasions.
pretty much since the beginning of last season, has only been getting better, and especially like the last couple months at USN, they played good. At this first half of the Pro League season, they've been playing fantastic, and
That and
I
ever since they
don't
got the
see.
two new people.
Well, they only picked up Skies.
Was it just Skies? Either
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
Skies was a major improvement to the way that they
Oh,
played.
I agree. He's nutty. So yes, those are my two choices. It's just phase and reciprocity. I kind of feel bad sleeping on Fnatic because I do think they're a really good team.
Honestly,
But
I'm kind of starting to lean towards Fnatic and Reciprocity just because of the Cloud9 roster.
okay,
I know,
Like,
right?
I mean,
you just
they
don't.
definitely are good.
You think
They're definitely
phase
good.
like slumping right now might carry
No,
over?
I'm not hearing a lot about them. I don't really watch their games that much, but I'm not noticing or hearing anything crazy. I
All
feel
right.
like they're not playing as well as they usually do, from what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
So,
All right. It's respectable. So are you switching your choice right now to Fnatic and reciprocity?
I'll say Fnatic and FaZe just so we can be different than Endo.
All
I'll just
right.
stick with my original, but deep down I want to say Reciprocity.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll stick with FaZe just to keep it interesting.
Ninjas in
Yeah,
Pajamas is playing really well right now. Like
They are,
they
but
are
they
just
playing
for
really
some reason
are.
well,
can't pick them.
but yeah, I mean they made it to quarterfinals in Paris. So I mean they obviously they got second place in year one, or is it year
The-
two Rio?
Well,
Yeah, it was year two Rio.
my main reason for picking Fnatic is their previous history in different invitationals. They've always performed well on lands.
Hmm.
So if they keep up the normal performance that they would have at a LAN, they should make it out of groups.
I mean, they're
Yeah,
definitely a good land team for sure.
and I mean, just last land, they definitely showed they can pull something out of a hat.
Yeah.
Especially when they played EG and broke my heart. But yeah. All right. Let's go over the Group B with Rogue, Immortals, Team Empire, and Space Station Gaming. Endo, do you want to start off with your predictions?
I mean, isn't it kind of obvious at this point? Immortals has
I don't think
been
it's
absolute.
obvious.
Okay, well, Empire has been just stomping
Yeah.
EU, so I have to put Empire getting out. However,
Only reason they're stomping
I
is
am.
Q hasn't been. I mean,
I mean,
you
yes,
know,
but
they're just
at the
taking the empty
same
spot.
time, I really think that Immortals has been doing at least better than both Space Station and Rogue. So I'm gonna have to go with Team Empire and an Immortal.
All right.
Gray, what are your picks?
I'm gonna argue that really heavy and say I'm gonna pick both NA teams. I'm saying Rogue and
Oh,
Space
okay.
Station. I mean, Team USA. I mean,
Yeah.
Rogue is obviously doing amazing right now.
They're
Winning
actually not
that
doing
NA.
that. They're not doing like after USN, they've actually been kind of struggling.
Have
In
they?
Pro
I
League.
haven't watched them a ton. I'm gonna stick with that though. I'm not switching off that. And then Space Station, I just think overall they're a solid team. Even though they haven't
Yeah.
been performing crazy right now, they just as like their history goes, they're a
Oh, God,
solid
I don't even
team.
know what are they in Pro League right
I
now. Like,
think they're like fifth because they have like 4 ties. Fourth or
yeah. Here,
fifth.
wait. I'm gonna look up the standings for
Yeah,
that
I
real
know it's
quick.
EG, Reciprocity, then DZ. I know that's top 3. And then I think it's either Rogue or Space Station at 4.
All right, I am looking it up right now. Space Station is in 5th and Rogue is in
4th?
yeah.
Okay.
So the top 4 teams are EG, Dark Zero, Reciprocity, and Rogue in that order.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Reciprocity beat, or Reciprocity lost to DZ, so that's why they lost their second
Yeah,
spot.
that's
Yeah.
why they lost their second spot.
Yeah. Alright, my choices. I'm actually going with Endo. I am also picking Immortals and Empire.
Oh man, I
I
hope you're wrong because I want to be the
I
one to
I
say,
I
hey
will
guys,
always support
look at me.
NA, but my
Apparently
money
not.
is not.
But
My,
again,
mo-
against
my
these
money
two
is
teams,
not.
they have been
Yeah,
just stomping everybody,
yeah. I
dude.
can't. But like, I definitely cannot put money on Rogue right now. They are looking like I think they have the second most talented roster in NA, but I
Dude, they're
can't
hiding
put.
strats.
Yeah, definitely.
Clearly. But
No,
yeah,
I'm
I can't
joking.
put money on them right now. Space Station
Yeah,
with Bosco has felt like they've improved, but at the same time, they're not winning games.
yeah. They have a really hard time like actually closing out the last
I
round
think
in order to win the game.
being in a best of 3 will definitely, or yeah, being in a best of 3 will help them because there are no ties. So I think this is actually better for Space Station because it won't just be like, oh, it's a tie, game
Yeah,
over.
but
'Cause-
Team Empire and Immortals both have just been they've just like been a train through every other
mhm,
team. They don't have any issue ending games or anything.
yeah,
So
I mean Empire, I think statistically is like the best team right now in the entire Pro
and
League.
yeah,
So I don't know how you can even put anything against them getting into group stages. Like, they're
Just
just
watch.
they're
I'm just
looking
telling you, just
they're
watch the
literally
games.
looking like a freight train right now. And then
hmm
Immortals, like I think they're either 1 or 2 in Latin America right now. I think they're 2 behind like Liquid,
here I can go ahead and look
maybe
that one
3 behind Nip and Liquid.
up. Immortals is actually first.
Okay, so they are first. I thought Liquid was
Immortals
maybe
is
first.
first with 4 wins and 3 draws. They have 0 losses.
Okay, yeah, so they haven't even lost a
Wow.
map yet this season, or yeah, they haven't lost a map yet this
Technically a
season.
map, yeah. They've
And
only drawn.
yeah, and last season they looked great. I mean, they didn't almost beat G2 in last land, but they competed against G2
Yeah.
a lot more than Fnatic did in the second round,
Yeah.
where they got
And
12-0'd.
and actually going to look at it, Fnatic is actually top of the Asian for APAC.
Okay.
So they have been doing really well.
Hmm.
The other APAC teams were Norengo,
And Mantis,
Mantis.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Norengo is top of Japan.
Hmm.
They went 7-1, so they've been performing pretty well. Fnatic was 5-1. Uh, this is win draw loss, by the way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
neither of those two teams have lost. And then
Mhm.
Mantis, it actually doesn't have anything for Mantis. So I think they just like
They're in that Korean league, and
yeah,
that
it has
four
none of
teams
the
dropped out, so there's literally only 4 people competing against them right now.
It's
Oh,
With
actually
really?
the other people, yeah.
there are 2 other teams in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, according to what I am looking at right now, which is from the Ubisoft like Pro
Yeah,
League stuff. There
something
are 2 other
happened with
teams.
that Korean league where a bunch of teams dropped out, so it's
So
kind of
and then
odd.
the Oceanic teams just
Hmm.
like I don't know how one of them didn't actually get in over one of the Korean teams, considering unless like Mantis went in and played against
I think they
the
just played really
Oceanic
well
team.
during those quals. I didn't get to watch them too much just because of the
Maybe, but
time,
like at the
but
same time, the top for Oceanic is Xavier Esports, and they went 8-0 in their region.
yeah, I think
Like,
Xavier and like Airwolf they always like choke for some reason in
yeah, I don't know, but
invite calls for APAC.
I don't know. I think it's just odd that Mantis is there rather than
Yeah,
a
they're
team who actually
definitely
played.
yeah they definitely seem like well they did play. I don't they must not have recorded the games though because
Maybe not.
I know they definitely have played. So
Nothing that is recorded, at least.
yeah.
But
Um.
regardless,
All right. Let's switch over to Group C. I'll start off since you two start off the last two.
yep.
Obviously I'm picking G2 to come out. Like how do you not
Yeah,
pick G2?
might want to actually say the
And
people in the group.
oh yeah, so you got G2 Esports, Mach8 Esports, Team Liquid, and Mantis FPS. Yeah, so I'm picking G2 and Team Liquid. Those are probably the 2 easiest picks to pick out of the Group C, but how do you not pick them? Liquid, they do tend to choke, other than Atlantic City at LAN.
Yeah.
Pretty much always choke. I don't know how they do it because they're so talented, and their roster is probably the most talented it's ever been. Picking up Gohan and Palu, they're both nutty players. Nesk is
Hmm.
obviously nutty. Sexy Cake pretty much plays anything, and Zig's a great support player.
Yeah.
And then G2 just speaks for themselves,
Is
best team
G2.
in the world until later on when they'll lose. But for right now in the group stages, they're gonna make it out, no doubt.
Yeah.
Mocket, well, last season it looked fantastic. Like
This
surprised, I think it
season,
surprised
not very
everyone. This
much.
season, yeah, the first like half of
Let's
the
see.
season, the first half of the first half of the season.
Mocket is currently in 7th.
Yeah,
Wow,
the
And
that's
first,
crazy.
I think the
and
first
I would
four
also like to
games.
mention that
Yeah, you go.
G2 is also in 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, but G2 had a weird season. That's not
They have
normal for
they have
G2.
G2
several
did have a weird
draws, don't
season.
they?
They have 3.
Okay, that's quite a bit.
So that's
Yeah.
the only reason for
Mhm.
it. The reason they're there is because they qualified prior because of
Oh
the
yeah.
thing beforehand, and I think that's the same for Mocket.
Hmm. They qualified
So
once they won a Paris Major, but then they
yeah,
also qualified again technically when they won a Rio. But then
yeah,
that ended up going to them EU just having a second qualifier spot, so that's why there are 5
yeah,
EU
which was
teams.
Mocket at the time.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, I don't. I really wish they would have sent Lestream rather than Mocket. Obviously,
They did
Mocket
send
had
Listream.
it at the time. Huh? Oh,
They,
well, okay. I don't know. What am I looking at? Okay, I really wish they had sent either Penta or Ents.
I mean, Maka deserved it because the Penta's also in.
When it, yeah.
But I mean, Maka did deserve it because they didn't go
Wait,
to the land
am
last
I
season,
blind? Okay,
which
there's 2
guaranteed
EU
their
teams.
spot,
Jesus.
So they definitely deserve it, even though they're not playing like they deserve it right now.
Yeah.
I think they could surprise. Even I honestly wouldn't be surprised if
I
Team
don't know. I
Liquid
just really
choked
want to see Ents
again.
there because I like Ents.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
agreed.
personally really I'm disappointed to not watch. They're one of my favorite
Yeah,
teams. I love Ents, and it
yeah. I
sucks not
would
to
have
see
loved
him here.
Ents to see them, but I think Market has upset potential in Liquid, but I'm going with G2 and
G2.
Liquid.
I still don't think G2 is gonna.
What are your picks, Endo?
Believe it or not, obviously I think G2 is gonna get it through,
Yeah.
but and this is with having a slight amount of knowledge I map of G2 versus Mantis.
Hmm.
All I have to say is Mantis made a really, really good fight against G2. And if I think if they're putting up against that much difficulty against G2, that they have at least a chance to get out of groups over
Okay.
Liquid. So I'm going to go ahead and go G2 and Mantis.
All right. Underdogs. All right. I like it. Gray, who are you going with?
I'm gonna say what you said. I'm gonna say G2 and Liquid, just because pretty much same reasons. Obviously, G2 is the best team. There's no real arguing that, and Team Liquid has always been amazing, and the fact that they were able to beat G2 at one point proves that they have what it takes, I think.
Might be.
Sorry, guys, I'm getting some stuff in my throat.
All good, all good. All right. With the final group, we got Group D with Evil Geniuses, Norango, Penta Sports. I don't know why it doesn't say Penta Sports, and
Yeah.
Lestream Esports. We'll start with Gray. Who do you think is going to be coming out of Group D?
I want to say EG for sure,
Mhm.
100%. They're my easy pick, and then probably isn't Lestream? Who is Lestream's roster? Don't they have a roster from World
They
Two?
All
are
right,
the
let
ex
me.
Millennium roster. It
Okay.
is
Yeah, I am looking at it right
Aces.
now.
Oh, I probably could name them
Uno,
all, but yeah, what about
Alfama,
you?
Aces, Hicks, and Rise. I don't remember. I think it's Rise.
It is Rice. It
Okay,
is
I'm
Rice.
gonna say I'm gonna say either Penta or Norango. I'm having a hard time between those two because Penta I feel like has been looking good, but
Hmm.
Norango has impressed me overall.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say probably Norango will make it out with EG.
All right. Uh,
Yeah,
Endo.
I'll
Who
go
are your
ahead and
picks?
go.
Yeah.
I actually will agree with him. EG obviously the easy pick, but Norengu has kind of been doing the same thing that Empire has been doing in their own region. Now it is APAC, but
Hmm.
if they are still able to bring that same play that they were actually doing over in the APAC
Yeah.
against Penta and Lestream,
Hmm.
I definitely could see them getting out of groups. If I wasn't going to choose Norengo, it'd probably be Lestream, but I'm going to go ahead and do EG and Norengo.
Yeah. Oh, I am also picking Evil Geniuses and Orango, but initially I actually was picking Lestream because they were looking
Really?
so good.
Uh-huh. Lestream has actually been like
Yeah.
the games that they did lose, they were
Hmm.
like really, really close games. I'm pretty sure one of them was the Empire, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
the other
that
one
was
was
their
the G2.
the last. I think their second. It was either second to last or last game was against Empire where they got just smoked, and that was
It was the
actually the
last game.
reason.
It
That
was
was
the
actually
last
the
game.
reason why I switched because Empire has that super aggressive, pretty much
And
win
that's the
every
exact
gunfight.
same that Norengo does.
Yeah, that was
It's
literally what I was
literally the
thinking.
exact
I
same
was
thing.
like,
And if
if
they
Norango
don't,
can do whatever, or even like somewhat replicate what Team Empire was doing, I don't
oh
see
yeah,
how Norango loses to the stream.
um, Penta is been performing well, but at
Hmm.
the same time, they've had the same issue of not necessarily being able to close out all of their matches when they really should,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
they're not.
comes
They're
comes
kind
to
of a
the two
mid-tier
draws.
team. They're not like
They're currently
amazing.
third. They're
Oh,
Hmm.
currently
really?
third,
I thought they were like fourth. Okay.
but the two losses that they have, I'm pretty sure if anybody like the top three teams, the two losses that they have are to Team Empire and G2. Like I'm
Hmm.
pretty
Yeah.
sure that G2 tied with like literally everybody,
Yeah.
lost against Team Empire.
They lost
Did they
against
lose against
Ents.
Lestream? They
Oh no,
lost against Ents.
They tied against the stream.
So they tied against Lestream, they tied against Penta, they lost to Empire, they lost to Ents, and I'm pretty sure they tied Chaos too. No, Chaos didn't get
No,
a tie.
they beat
So they beat
Chaos.
Chaos.
Hmm.
They beat Chaos. They beat. No, they tied the Secret, and then they beat Mocket.
No, they lost to Secret. Secret beat them, I'm pretty sure, didn't they?
Uh,
Or did they
well,
actually
they don't have a
tie?
tie.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I could
Then
have.
they must have. Then
Yeah,
they must have. They
no,
must.
no, that was the very first game of the season. So yeah, it was Team Secret that actually won that. That's
Yeah.
that because I remember it like surprised everybody that they won. So that's one
Hmm.
of their losses. So they have had a very off season
Hmm.
overall. G2 has, but considering that the top two teams have still lost, or two of the top three teams in EU still lost to them,
Hmm.
excluding Team Empire, obviously proves that if Lestream, that people don't think that Lestream and Penta aren't as good as what people think they are.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think Group D is the strongest group, top to bottom.
Oh yeah,
Like Norangu, probably best team out of APAC, the entire APAC region, I
yeah,
think. I think they're better than Fnatic. I think they're better than Mantis. EG, obviously, best NA team. There's no
yeah.
question about it.
And then
Lestream and Penta
are good
could
teams.
easily
yeah, they're
be
good, but
argued
they're
for being top 4
not as
teams in
yeah.
they're
EU.
not on the level of EG
like
and
like
Norengu.
EG and Empire are probably 1 and 2 right now in EU, but I'd say Penta and the Streamer, you could easily say they're 3 and 4 right now in
Did you say
Yeah,
EU.
no.
EG and Empire?
I'm saying G. Oh, did I say EG? I meant G2
You
and
said
It might have
Empire.
been me. I'm not sure.
Okay, well G2 and
G2
Empire
Empire.
definitely
Yeah.
top EU, and then I think Penta and the Streamer
Yeah.
3 and 4.
But if you're looking like overall strength of each group,
Hmm.
it's definitely Group D. They've got the strongest teams at least,
Yeah.
like compared to the others. Because like if you look at Group C, Mantis FPS, we're not completely sure how much they are gonna do. At least further than what I had seen.
Hmm.
Mocket has not been putting up a very good fight in general.
Yeah, I think Group C is definitely the
I think
weakest.
if I had to choose the second one, it would like I would probably choose Group B as like the second strongest
I'd
group
actually
overall.
personally choose Group A as the second strongest because I
Because I know
think they
NIP
have
has been doing well, but
I would say Group A is probably the second. D is
'Cause-
just
obviously the
because
strongest.
every team there has lots of
Yeah.
LAN experience. Like obviously FaZe
Yeah.
has been everything. Fanatics,
I mean,
since they've
Fnatic,
started, has been
Reciprocity
everything.
was the old Cloud9. They
yeah.
won USN,
And they had
NIP
Skies and
is just
Laxing who were in Elevate, who obviously went to several LANs with Elevate.
exactly.
I
And
would say Group C is the
NIP
strongest. Are you guys saying Group D?
Yeah, we're saying Group D is the strongest. And then I
No,
think
like
mean, if-
strongest overall, like
top to bottom.
all the teams in there are stronger than all added up are like stronger than all
Okay.
the other teams in a different
But
group.
I'm saying that if I'm a team going into this, I would rather be in Group D than Group C for my chances of making out. Because I feel like
Wait,
as
Group
any team,
D then Group C?
I'd rather be
Well,
in Group D. Yes, because I know that every team has a chance to maybe beat EG and Norengu, but most teams don't have a chance to beat G2.
Okay, Group C is kind of like the group of death.
Yeah, even as a huge EG fan, I have they're
Like-
not the strongest team in the world. Obviously, you could beat them if you get lucky, but EG or G2 is just on a good day they pretty much cannot be beaten.
I do
so.
think this is the strongest EG has ever been. And
Yeah, but
ever
I would still
looked.
rather play them than G2 right now. Honestly, if I was a team in the Pro League, I would rather play EG.
I think a lot more teams will have confidence. Like I think G2 has a lot.
I think a lot of
that's
shown a
true
lot
too.
of weaknesses.
yeah, I think a lot more people will be more confident facing G2 right now just due to the
Because they look
past like
a
half season.
mess right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they look like a mess. They're
Like,
still
G2 's
G2.
But
Don't get me wrong.
recently
they
they've
look
been
like a
playing
mess.
better. The last game or two have been
Exactly,
better.
they have.
Yeah, playing better.
But that's
EG is
recently.
literally
We
playing
don't
like
know.
their best.
But also,
ever.
you can't. I mean, just because a team has 3 or 4 bad games doesn't make them. Oh, they're not. They're
I agree.
still the
I mean,
best.
yeah. I mean, I'm still picking
They're
on the
still
Garo Group
EG.
C.
They had a
but
bad week.
I think G2. I legitimately think G2 has a better chance of not getting out than EG.
Really, you think?
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
I would put
yeah,
more money on EG getting out than.
I
than
would
I
G2.
would as a fan, 100%. I would say that as a fan, but as a realistic looking at it, I'm
But
saying
I mean,
G2 is.
G2 definitely has the
realistically-
weakest road to getting out. I think. Literally, they play Mantis and then they play the winner of Mocket and Liquid, who I know they.
Yeah,
could
I
beat
mean,
either team.
there's no way. I mean, even if Team Liquid makes it out, G2's still making it out. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They don't have to be better than Team Liquid. That's the only competition they have, I think, in this whole stage.
See, that's the thing. I think even if they don't perform better than Liquid, obviously they don't need to be better than Liquid to get
That's
out.
what I'm saying. Even if they're
Yeah.
second,
They only need to be
no
better
way
than
third.
Mocket, which they're obviously already better than.
They're better than they're better. They could play
now
Mocket
the
and Mantis.
only thing I say is because I don't know how well Mantis is going to perform.
Yeah, but
that is the wild card, because if Mantis outperforms what we think they're going to perform and they end up beating G2, well,
do you think that's
they're gone at that point.
Yeah.
It's very well a possibility with how G2 have been playing recently. Who knows? They could. Now, don't get me wrong; they're a really good LAN team, but there's always the possibility of them going back to whatever was happening during the first half of the season, and they just break or something.
That's true,
Because
the
they
pressure
were
gets
very
to 'em, yeah.
Also, I don't
they were
think.
very sloppy and just not coordinated
I don't
during
think.
the first half
I
of the
think a
season.
lot of like at least recently they've shown a kind of a weakness to that aggro play, which I think
Yes, they definitely
every
have.
single
Which is
person in
what a lot of
that
APAC
group.
do.
Like,
But do you
if,
think that Mantis and Mocket have what it takes to pull that out? I mean,
I don't think
because that
Mocket
requires
does.
skill
I think Mantis
still.
has the chance. I think
Okay.
I
It's
think
gonna
Mantis has the
be-
chance. I don't think Mocket does.
I don't think they'd win in a 3-game series, but if they could take 2 maps.
Just get lucky, yeah.
Like they would have to take 1 and 2 maps, I think. I don't think they could beat them in a 3-game series. So if they can take the first map and just like demoralize them and get them in a funk, and then just maybe show something crazy that G2 we're not expecting in map 2, that's the
Yeah,
only way
exactly.
they'd beat G2.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Now,
G2 I don't think has
exactly.
been showing they can play against crazy
It's
play.
not likely, but there is a chance.
Yeah. I think the most open-ended group is probably Group B, in my opinion.
Yeah,
There's definitely a
for sure.
possibility for anybody to get out,
Mhm.
excluding, I think, Empire, because I'm sure they're just going to get out.
Yeah,
I'm 100% confident that Empire is going to get out.
I
It
agree,
is a
but they
toss-up
don't
between
have
the last 3 teams.
they don't have a ton of lane experience.
I'm
though.
sure I gotta say
Yes.
Rogue's getting out. Rogue has to get out of that for
Now,
sure. I mean,
now the only thing that I can
If Rogue shows
say
like a USN Rogue, yes.
is this,
But
okay?
if
Rogue
they're
is
doing
such a
what they
strong
are
team.
right now,
Rogue
I don't
and
see
Space
it.
Station have both played against playstyles similar to Empire beforehand, and they've done well against them. They've played against like Norango, they've played against what was Black Dragons, and like the old Black Dragons, that
I mean,
super
Rogue
aggressive
lost in
playstyle.
Orango though.
They did. Don't get me wrong, but they've played against it before. Therefore, I think it's kind of like a vaccination kind of thing. You know, if you
Mhm.
get a little bit of it, you can get over it.
Mhm.
Now,
I know Space Station
they
played
played against
Empire
it because
at.
most people,
I think
yeah,
they played against them at. I think it was Winter or Valencia. One of the two.
yes, it was one of the two. But like I said, I think they've been exposed to it at one point or another. I
Mhm.
think if they have the ability, simply the ability to adapt to that, and because they're from a different region, obviously they're going to be researching on each other. But
Mhm.
their Rogue's like way of thinking about something may be completely different to Empire, and it may just completely throw them off, and and that could be Empire out for all we know. So it's definitely open ended, and anybody can get out. But if I
Mhm.
had to choose somebody that was more likely to get out, it would be to Empire.
Definitely, definitely. I definitely think every group has that like one team like Phase, Empire, G2, and EG. Like
The
definitely
only one I
like
see,
safe
I wouldn't
money
say
on all
FaZe is
4
gonna.
of
I
them.
wouldn't say FaZe is gonna get out, but
I'm saying
I
Fnatic over FaZe.
think
If I'm
I
picking
think
if I'm
yeah.
picking
I
one
know
team,
yeah,
I'm
I know
saying
you guys
Fnatic.
yeah.
if
I know
I am
you guys
picking
aren't
one
picking
team
yeah.
from there, I'm gonna go Fnatic. But
Yeah, and
Okay,
if
all right.
the only one that I can't pick one team is Group B because I do want to stick with saying Rogue, but at the same time I know Immortals and Empire are super strong.
Immortals and Empire have been just
That's the
steam.
most I think balanced group right now. The one that you can't
Oh
like.
yeah, like
So
you
it's gonna
can't like
yeah.
specifically. Yeah,
Like
it's
Fnatic,
not like
G2,
Group.
EG, they're getting out. We know that.
It,
I mean,
yeah,
pretty much.
it's not like Group C where you can pretty much guarantee it. You know,
Yeah, I can
you can
basically
guarantee
bet money
more
on
than
one
likely.
of those teams.
Yeah.
Group
Yeah,
A is closer. Obviously, C and D are easy. A is a little bit more, but you can still kind of pick one.
yeah.
I can't pick one. That's hard. If I had to pick
Uh,
who's getting out on top, I don't know.
I really I haven't seen Ninjas in Pajamas play enough. I haven't actually seen them play enough to actually give a good thing on it. Like in the standings, they're doing well. Like
Yeah, they're playing really well right
they're
now.
they are
I think they
third.
just lost a game to Liquid, but still
Yeah,
they're still playing really well.
they're third, and they're still playing really well.
Mhm.
It's just the simple fact of, are they going to be able to deal with the super, like they were losing to Empire, or no they weren't, they were losing to Immortals,
Mhm.
which has the same kind of playstyle as Empire where they're just like steamrolling people. FaZe kind of similar to that, not doing it as well as Empire or Immortals, but they still have the same kind of thing, and Reciprocity has been doing that same thing really well as well,
Yeah.
which is why I would rather say Reciprocity gets out, because I think Reciprocity does the whole Team Empire copycat thing better than what FaZe does.
Yeah.
And Fnatic is just a staple good team that I think can just win. So, like I said, I mean, I think Reciprocity will get out first, but I think Fnatic will get out second because FaZe Clan can't actually replicate what they need to as, I guess, accurately as they need
I
to in
mean,
order
to
for it
be
to
fair,
actually
FaZe
be
actually
effective.
has a bad. They normally get out of group stages, but they don't particularly perform well on stage.
Exactly.
other than their literally last season where they made it to the finals, they almost always get bounced out of the quarters. Sometimes they've made it to semis, but they don't have amazing LAN history. With that, the most like actually probably decorated team is probably Ninjas in Pajamas on LAN, but
Oh yeah.
I still don't think. I mean, they're
That's one
playing
thing I
really
want.
well. I feel like bad. I feel like we're sleeping on Ninjas in Pajamas because they're honestly a really
Yeah,
good
but
team.
they just don't impress me as much. They don't stand out to me. I don't see them
Yeah.
and go, oh, I wouldn't, you know.
Like, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I feel bad sleeping on them, but I just feel like for me, it definitely reciprocity is getting out.
Oh yeah.
And I know you guys don't think
Yeah,
FaZe is getting
I
out, but
almost I almost
I think
want to
FaZe is
switch
still
my.
that good that they're gonna turn like kind of like what G2 is probably gonna do is they're just gonna be like, okay, guys, this is the group stages for like season or six invitational. We're gonna like
Yeah.
turn it on. Like,
See,
I
now
just think that's
that's a
gonna happen.
possibility, but the only reason I would rather go, I'm sleeping on Ninja Pajamas at least, is simply because of the team, the likeness to Immortals that Reciprocity and FaZe have to, or Reciprocity and FaZe play a lot like Immortals, and Immortals was still beating Ninjas in Pajamas every time they played,
Okay.
and pretty definitively, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
almost want to
So
say that my first pick is Reciprocity now over Fnatic, but that's a really tough pick. I think I'm switching from FaZe to Reciprocity. I don't know if I can.
I'm still sticking with Reciprocity for sure, and I'm still gonna stay with Fnatic because I simply believe that Fnatic can beat FaZe.
Yeah, I think I gotta switch
I
mine.
think Fnatic can beat FaZe. I'm confident that Reciprocity can beat FaZe, and I'm confident that Reciprocity can beat Fnatic.
Okay.
I don't think Fnatic's gonna win against Ninjas in Pajamas, or FaZe is gonna win against Ninjas in Pajamas. So
Okay.
I think it'll go from FaZe to NIP, and thinking NIP is gonna win that. Fnatic Reciprocity,
Really?
Reciprocity is gonna win that. And then I'm gonna have to say that out of Reciprocity and NIP, I would probably say Reciprocity wins that.
Hmm.
And then the two losers would be FaZe and
Fnatic.
Fnatic, and I'd probably say Fnatic would beat FaZe. So that's my kind of.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you're saying the same thing. FaZe will win, then Reciprocity will win, and then Reciprocity will beat FaZe, and Fnatic will beat Ninjas.
Wait,
Is
so
that what you're
you
saying?
have only one Latin America team going to playoffs at this point?
Yeah, pretty
Am I
much.
correct? Okay. All right.
See, I'm saying all the NA teams are going, which is
That's
Every
NA
single,
bias.
I know.
That's
I
all
mean,
NA
four,
bias, but
and two are even in Group B, which
see,
have
I have
Immortals and
EU bias,
Fire.
but I'm
yeah, I
biased.
mean,
I'm biased towards Reciprocity because I loved Cloud9, and I still am bringing that over because it's essentially the same squad, excluding Goddess, sadly.
yeah.
Hmm.
On
Um,
Group B, I'm probably making bad decisions just because I like those
It's
two
okay, you can
teams.
go with your heart.
I'm gonna say those. I want to say those just because I want to prove you guys wrong. Because I know,
oh yeah,
that we're gonna see something crazy.
so
I can see something happening.
We're gonna see. We're gonna
Honestly,
see.
I wouldn't be surprised if pretty much other than Group C, like we get like half of it wrong.
I'm
Given the
telling you
oh
the
yeah,
four
stages.
I
final
wouldn't.
teams right now. Do you want to hear the four right now?
See,
Sorry, say that again.
I wouldn't be surprised if I got Group C completely wrong.
Do you want to hear the four final teams that are gonna end up in the invitationals? Because I
So
know it right
the
now.
two semis finals.
Yeah, I
Okay,
know
yeah.
all four teams. It's Reciprocity, Rogue, Space Station, and EG.
I
100%,
don't think that
no
could
doubt.
actually happen.
No,
I
it's happening.
seriously doubt that will
Like
No,
the
happen.
way the way
I'm joking. But
the
if it
way the
does,
But
playoffs would work out.
do you know if we had that happen, no one could ever say crap about NA ever again.
yeah,
Ever. Never.
That would
no,
be actually
that's one thing. I
crazy.
seriously would not be surprised if Reciprocity made it into semis, though.
I wouldn't either. No.
Like
Okay.
I think out of if I had to choose four teams right now to make
Hmm.
it into semis, Reciprocity, G2, EG, and probably Liquid, even though I'm going against what I'm saying where I think Mantis is going to get out.
That's I
Alright.
think honestly.
I think
I
that's
wouldn't be able to
likely,
argue
but
that.
I think that's likely, but I want Mantis to get out
Okay, I'm gonna say
because of how I saw them perform against G2. I think that they have a good chance of getting out, and I want them to get out.
yeah, I'm gonna say logically, obviously G2, EG. I want to say Reciprocity. If it's not
Oh,
reciprocity,
you know what?
maybe Fnatic.
I forgot about Empire, but
Yeah.
And then I'm probably gonna have to say either Liquid, maybe Empire will get out. Between those, like
I don't know. It depends on whether or not Empire finally hits.
Sorry, say that again. You
It,
cut
you
out.
cut out.
I said I think it kind of depends on whether or not Empire finally hits.
Oof.
Like
You
if
cut out in the same
oh
place.
my gosh. Okay,
Finally hit.
if Empire finally hits a wall.
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Okay, because
Okay, here. Sorry, I'll finish my thought. I think if like obviously Rogue, Space Station, Immortals have had what the last 2 weeks to do film on Empire. If they find like weaknesses in their attacks or in defenses,
and they exploit them properly.
like I still think they're just off pure talent is good enough to get out.
Oh
But if
yeah.
they do find weaknesses, I do think like the really good teams at stratting like FaZe and G2 and
hmm
EG could beat them in
See, well,
playoffs.
I think even then, ignoring Rogue and Space Station, I think that the Immortals could just very well be that wall. Having another like equally, in my opinion, equally like specially skilled at doing that exact kind of thing.
Hmm. Just
So
pure talent.
like pure talent, I
Hmm.
think that Immortals has the possibility of matching Empire and giving them a good run for their money.
Yeah.
So I think Immortals very well. We haven't seen any of the full matches yet, but I think Immortals could definitely. It's a really like 50-50 throw up between the two because they are just so talented at what they do.
Yeah.
So I mean, I fully see Immortal Empire going to 3 games. Even I would see like all the rounds even.
Yeah.
Like I
Definitely.
would not be surprised to see every single round and every single map again in the Immortals Empire game.
Yeah. I definitely think those two teams are pretty
So
evenly
I
matched.
very well, depending on how that goes, that very well could be Empire's wall.
True. I do think though, let's just say Immortals beats them in the first game, and then they have to
Yeah.
play the loser of Rogue and Space Station. I think they beat whatever that team is, and then
Oh
they
yeah.
beat
No.
the
If
winner
I had to
of Rogue
choose
and Space
between the two,
Station and Immortals.
I would think that Rogue would beat Space Station, and
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think they'll have a problem beating Space Station.
I'm saying yeah, Rogue over Space Station second game. I'm thinking Empire over Immortals. I feel like I don't want to say it, but I feel like Empire will probably end up beating Rogue.
Aren't you
Even though
picking Rogue and Space Station to get out?
I am, but now that I'm gonna stick that as my pick. But I
He
don't know.
wants it to happen, but he knows
Yeah.
logically that it will happen.
Yeah.
I'm still picking. I'm still saying my official pick is Rogue and Space Station, but
All right. All
I think
right.
as I go logically through it, it's hard to
So,
argue that that's probably not gonna happen or that
but
probably will
yeah.
happen. Like it's just.
But yeah,
But
no, I think that Group B is definitely a chance for a huge upset there because everybody thinks that Empire is just
Yeah.
going to steamroll everything, but Immortals has been doing the exact same thing in their region, and I mean, what else can I say? Now, admittedly, Immortals has drawn a lot more matches. They're having a lot more harder time closing everything out, but they are
Hmm.
still a very, very talented team that can, in my opinion, at least put up a good fight against Empire and
I think
bring it out to that far.
draws aren't necessarily a bad thing because it shows that even if they do get down, they can still
They
pull it
can
back.
still come, yeah,
And there
they can
is
still
no
come back.
overtime, so
Because I didn't watch all of the Immortals games, so I don't
yeah.
have any idea how long the like if they were coming back from being like
Hmm.
0-3
Or
or
if they're like losing a lead,
yeah, like if they were
or if it's
losing
just like
a
back
lead.
and forth.
Now, I think that if they were getting ahead and then having a hard time ending the game, that's where I would be worried. If
Hmm.
they were coming back and then drawing, like they were losing their first like 4-5 rounds and then getting one back, and then they came back and drew the game,
Hmm.
I would see that as a win.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I haven't seen all of their games, so
I've seen at least a handful of their games. I mean, there's obviously only been 7, so I've probably
yeah.
seen like 2 to 3 of their games, and they definitely have some nutty players. Like Navi's is one of the
Oh yeah.
nuttiest Latin American players I've ever seen. put him on
Well, okay.
Valkyrie and he's just doming people.
Oh yeah. Cyber, M
Right.
King,
Mhm.
PX, Navi's, and Bullet. I
Yeah.
think Bullet has also been performing really, really well.
Yeah, it's surprising because I mean he was never a bad player, but he definitely underperformed last season with Liquid.
Oh yeah.
But I mean he's proven he just belongs in Pro League, which I'm
Yeah,
happy.
he's definitely a good player.
Mhm.
The only other thing that I really, the only thing that I can say that may make or break Empire is
Mhm.
joystick.
To be fair,
Don't get me wrong.
if
Everybody else on the team is really good,
mhm.
but they rely on joystick for a lot of the fragging capability.
That's
If
actually not
you
as true. If you go, I looked at their stats,
maybe in the later games, I didn't
and
see
this at
like the
least this
last
half
like
the
2 or 3
season,
games.
Joystick isn't even like statistically their best player. It's Karzeka and it's Scyther, I believe.
Okay,
Like
and I know
while
Karzeka has
Joystick
been
is
performing
getting
a lot.
most of their opening kills, like,
Yeah,
but like Karzeka's like
joystick is
getting
what's getting them in there.
Karzeka's getting
I
all
mean,
the trades on Joystick.
joystick is taking up bans.
Yeah, Joystick gets one and then usually
Like
dies, and then
now,
Karzeka
I
gets
think
him.
that if they can deal with joystick, even if he's on an Ash or something, and they give
Mhm.
him ban elsewhere, that can mess up the rest of their team synergy somehow. I think that would definitely bring them down a notch.
I feel like there's such
And
a.
give them.
Oh, you can finish your thought.
Well, yeah, because like, and even then, even when Ash wasn't banned, he was still
Mhm.
going to play the Jackal.
Yeah.
Um, in my opinion, his Jackal play is kind of a 50-50 flip. I've seen him do really well on it, and I've seen him die instantaneously every round on it.
Yeah.
So
He still goes nutty though with Jaeger on the other side.
yes. Now, I think if you get onto a map like Clubhouse where you have a legitimate reason to ban Jaeger, and you have a legitimate reason to ban something else of his,
Mhm.
or you can just ban something else on attack and leave up the Ash. Or if you really wanted, if you're not going to use the Jackal, you could ban that from him and force him onto the Ash and have a plan for that.
I don't
Because in my
see.
opinion, Jackal is a lot more useful than the Ash, but that's all up to them. I think that if they can get something or get him on something that he's comfortable with and then basically make him uncomfortable on it,
Mhm.
and then take away the Jaeger. Like I said, because on Clubhouse, Jaeger, it's a very specific ban, but I've seen it more than a few times at this point for
Mhm.
like the cash and gem holds. He
Mhm.
is used religiously on there, and he's also used in the as well. It messes up a lot of people's strategies because they don't necessarily expect it to be banned.
Yeah.
So it's an odd ban that could mess up a lot if the other team isn't going to use it. Now, that's the only reason why it wouldn't get banned. Which, at least in my opinion, in all of their games, I don't think that Jaeger is going to get banned, but I think that if it were to happen, that would be the reason for it, is because it's both a good ban for the map and because it gets him off of it. Not necessarily just one or the other.
Mhm. I think the key to beat Empire, one is to match their aggression, because while they are the best at playing aggressive, I think if you at least play aggressive in a way they're maybe not expecting it, you could really slow them down because they seem like they're really methodical. I mean, they seem like they're super fast paced and they're just going in and gunning
Oh
people,
yeah.
but at the same time, it's actually very methodical. Like they drone every time, like the exact same time or exact same
Oh yeah.
ways every time. And
They
joystick
have everything
follows the
like
exact same
set to a
time.
time, basically.
Karzeka's behind them. The always are and always ready to get those trades. Like the hard breachers know exactly when to blow the wall. Their support
Oh
players
yeah.
know exactly when to use their utility.
That
Or
that can be a downfall though, if you're
that's what
too
I'm
stuck in
saying.
your ways.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like
The,
if
the,
you
Okay.
the
know
only
how
thing,
to
if you
break their
see,
way, then they
yeah,
might not know where
Yeah.
to go.
if you see something that is available, like see literally one point where they are, you know, because obviously they do everything in the same pattern practically every time. If you find
Hmm.
one weakness in that pattern and exploit it, they're honestly not, they may not know what to do.
Hmm. I
Now, I'm
definitely
not
think
saying
like
that they
that on
will not know
attack.
what to do, but they definitely can like if you happen to just be able to oh, the hard breach is weak in this one area.
Hmm.
I'm going to have, like a vigil play over here so he can't be drowned out, and he's going to play in this really, really stupid location that they're not going to look, but it exploits this one weakness. They don't have a hard breacher anymore. What are they going to do? Now,
Yeah,
whether or not that happens, obviously, I don't think it will happen, but I think there is still always a possibility for it.
I do think it's also. I think the way to mess them up when they're attacking is to just really be unpredictable and to kind of get them
Play
out of
ranked.
there in a
I
way,
mean,
but
in a way.
not, but smarter. And then to get them out of their way on attack, and then when they're on defense, I think you have to like it's gonna be joystick and someone else roaming, probably
Oh yeah.
Karzeka with them. And if you can like, cause definitely like I remember I was watching them play. I think it was against Ants. It could have been the stream, but they literally just missed him in CEO on consulate, and he gets like a 3K for pretty much free.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you can shut
Um,
down that roam, then I
a
definitely
good
think you
a
can
good example of
exploit them
this
on
is
their
actually
defenses.
yeah, a good example of that is actually the very first match of the season for EU, which was G2 and Secret.
Hmm.
The one game that Secret won, that literally in the game, like the post game thing where he was talking to, I don't remember who it was that he was talking
Probably
to.
in Terra Mirlosh.
No, he was talking. I'm trying to. I think it was.
Or talk about like the player?
Yeah, I think it was a
Oh,
limb.
oh really? Oh, I would
Yeah,
assume it would be either like Leon or maybe, but maybe it was a Lums.
I think it was a limbs. But regardless of who it was,
Hmm.
he literally said their strategy was to pin down Kanto and
Okay.
just kill
Yeah.
Kanto. Not even
Yeah.
joking. That the one game that they won the entire
Hmm.
first half of the season, they said that their strategy was solely to kill Kanto, and it
Okay.
That's
wasn't.
not. I mean,
So
yeah.
if
He's
you make that
crazy.
if you make it work the same way that they did that game, then I don't see
Hmm.
an issue.
I mean, statistically, yeah, I think Kanto is like the best player in EU or even Pro League. I can't remember. I know definitely. Yeah, I think he had the highest like C's GG rating, like Chaos
Uh,
rating.
I
I believe
can
in
look
EU,
quick.
but I don't know if it was for. I didn't compare it to like NA or Latin America.
I don't even know where the cost rate. Oh wait, we can't look at them. Boo.
You probably have to find it on like their Twitter or like Reddit
Yeah,
maybe, but it's okay.
but he's definitely up there.
Oh,
Oh, for sure. I
he's
mean,
having an amazing
yeah.
season. Yeah, I honestly, yeah, I feel like yeah, you definitely if you can get an opening on joystick and not get traded by Karzeka, I feel like that will definitely fluster their
Yeah, or
attacks.
even if you could trade one for both of them.
Oh yeah, or just get Karzeka and you don't get and fall back before joystick gets a trade. Like if you can
Yeah,
get at least
or
one of them without losing man count right away, that would be massive.
yeah, I mean even then, like if you were to make it a 4v3
Hmm.
and get both of them, trade one for both of them, that would be probably the best case scenario.
Hmm.
Like
Even
for
I feel
instance,
like
I'll just
if it's 4-4, it's always gonna be an Empire's Pharaoh just because everyone on that team can win their gunfights. Literally every
yeah,
single one.
I mean I'll use Immortals as a you know
Hmm.
good thing. If you were to trade Bullet for either of them or both of them, that would probably be like one of your best case scenarios.
I
Don't get me
agree.
wrong, Bullet's been doing really well, and it's not because he hasn't been doing well. I think it's because he can, finish the kill on one of them at least, and then get traded out.
I definitely think one for one trade is normally good for defense, but against Empire, I feel like it's almost
Even
it's
if it's a
like
3v4,
I
even
still
if you
like
end up getting both of them, even
well,
if you
well,
clear
well,
out
no, I'm
the
saying obviously if
roamers.
you get man count, yes, but I'm saying in
Yeah.
even man count, I still say Empire has the advantage
Oh
just
yeah,
because of
no,
how good they
no.
are.
I think yeah, you have to have man count against them.
Hmm.
Regardless. But if you were to get the best case scenario, make it let's say a 4v3. Both of the roamers are dead, and the last three people are in sight. You should have no reason not to be able to close that round.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, there are things that can happen. Then people can just clutch rounds. Don't get me wrong. The other three people on Empire are definitely capable of it.
Yeah.
They if they got joystick and Karzeka, Shepard has still been doing really good. Shock has
Yeah.
been still doing really good.
Mm.
Scyther's been I'm pretty sure they're all top 10 for players in EU, at
I
least.
wouldn't be surprised. They're all been playing very good.
No, I remember watching the stream. I'm pretty sure he said that like 4 of the 5 spots are Empire
Yeah.
in the top 5.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
100%. The other one's probably Kanto.
the other one was probably Kanto, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be surprised if it's like Karzeka as number 1 and then Kanto and then like Scyther.
Yeah,
or
Kanto, it says, I looked
like
him up, it says
separate.
he's top 3. I don't know where he actually is, but this season he's top 3
Okay.
Yeah,
in Pro League, so more than just like EU.
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So
I'm sure
Um,
Nadian's up there. He's having a great
Yeah.
season.
Who,
Nadian
by
has
the way,
been
did
doing
Kanto
well.
replace? I forget.
He replaced Shate.
Okay, I
Yeah.
was thinking maybe Shate. So yeah, I was
He replaced
disappointed at first. I was like, oh, I really like Shate. I was kind of disappointed to see Kanto. And then like after
See,
watching him, like
that
he's
was it. The
pretty-
funny thing is that
He's
Kanto was
amazing.
originally on Ints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they basically did a trade and Ints got Chate, and I think Ints on
No,
Chate.
it was
Chate
a
on it.
trade to because
Was it
Shate
actually a
stepped
trade?
Shate stepped down and he wasn't gonna play anymore. And then
And then he went
they
over
ended
there.
up trading Kanto for Shate, but Shate only came over as a streamer initially. And then I think they dropped one of their 5 players.
And then
he
they didn't play for a season.
He filled in for them
And then
in
kept
Challenger
playing.
League, and then yeah, he just ended up keep playing, and
Yeah.
now they're playing pretty decent
No,
in EU.
I still really wish Ints was here because I think, in my personal opinion, that Wilkie maybe not the best aim in the world, but I think he's definitely one of the best like IGLs in the world, and I would love to see what kind of strategies they would come up with for this.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely can come up with really creative stuff.
Like I think I honestly think that he's, if I had to choose like top 3 IGLs in the world, it would be Fabian, Nadian, and Wilkie.
Fabian and Nate.
Fabian and Nadian. I mean, you can't
I
go
don't
wrong
think
with
you
those
can't
two.
you can't go wrong with those either of those
But
two.
Wilkie is top of his game in at least IGL,
For
and
sure.
he still even can come in those clutch moments. There have been plenty of times where he's done stupid miraculous things where he really shouldn't have been able to.
Yeah.
And then he just types old as gold in chat and everybody laughs.
I definitely think Karzeka, for what he's done with Empire, he's definitely a good shot caller.
Is he the IGL for
Yeah, it's
Empire?
Karzeka.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Slash is it for Rogue. I mean, whoever it is for Rogue, it could be easily. I believe it's Slash. Like, I would say he is a pretty good shot caller.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, no, everybody. It's not as if like the people who are doing it on the other teams are bad at it.
I'm
It's
just
just
saying,
I
like,
think
who I was
those are
just saying.
definitely like the top 3.
Yeah.
You know,
I was just saying
those
who
are
I
just the
also
best of the
respect
best.
as like good shot callers.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't. Who does shot call on reciprocity? It is
I
Fox.
believe it's Mark.
Okay, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
It used to be
But,
Fox A, I believe, before they
yeah,
brought in Skies, but once they brought in Skies, I believe they switched it to Mark.
yeah, and having that old reunion of Skies and Laxing,
It's nuts.
it's nuts.
It's funny because
they
like
go
because
off.
Laxing isn't really entering because he's pretty much a Thatcher, even though he's like a really aggro Thatcher.
Oh yeah, he
It's
does not
actually
play the
it's
same role that
Fox
he
and
used
it's
to.
Fox and Skies, but still Fox is just as nutty as Laxing was with Skies, and Skies is being
Exactly.
Skies right now. And
Skies is just Skies.
Retro,
And
just put
Laxing
him,
still
just
does
give
his
Retro
thing.
a gun and he'll be good.
Hey, I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
What's your So we talked a little bit ahead of the time about Final Four, but I'm kind of curious. What's your final 2?
Who I want to see? Well,
Okay, who do you want to see, then who do you realistically think we'll see?
want to see obviously G2 and EG. Like
Obviously,
I
yeah.
need that.
Yeah.
That'd be
And
the
I'm gonna
greatest
say
final.
realistically, that's not a bad.
Oh yeah, I
pick.
wouldn't say realistically either. I think the way
Realistically.
it does go down. I believe it's A1 versus D2, and then D1 versus A2, and then it's B1 versus C2, and then C1 versus B2. I believe
Okay.
that's how it goes, but I could be.
Now we
You
may
never
want to
know.
clarify for people watching. Whenever he says A, that means the first person who got,
Yeah.
or person who placed first in Group A.
Yes. Yes.
and so on and so forth. So
Mhm.
A2 is second place in Group A.
Yeah, so if EG won Group D and let's just say Reciprocity got second in Group A, they would play each
They
other
would play.
in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
and I feel like EG would probably. EG is an amazing lane.
I
They would
feel like
definitely
EG
pull
will
out.
beat any team in Group A,
They're the
and
second most accomplished lane in team at
yeah,
Yeah.
for
and I think they'll
100%.
beat anyone in Group D realistically. And I mean, I can't say they'll lose to anyone other than G2. Obviously, they can lose, but I
Mhm.
wouldn't put any other team up above them.
If
Other
it
than
was
Yeah.
though like A versus D in at least one side of the bracket, I mean, it depends where so let's just say G2 got first. I believe in EG got first. I think they would play each other in the semis if they both got first.
okay.
Because I think
And who do you think would win that? Like realistically, who are you picking for that?
I'm picking
EG.
EG.
I'm picking
They're
EG.
literally playing the best they've ever
They're
played right
they're
now.
they're playing.
And
Yeah.
G2 is definitely a bit rocked right now. They
I
got a lot
agree.
of pressure on a lot of
But
pressure
to
on
be
them.
fair, if they do make it to the semis, they're probably gonna have all that rust knocked off.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
No. Okay.
I'm
The
still
thing
picking EG. I'm picking
it
EG.
G2 really depends on how well they do in groups. If you see them doing really well in groups, then they will have no problem getting it past anything else, in my opinion.
Hmm.
If they are still rocky in groups, I do not see them making it past that.
No, if they're having trouble in groups, then they will probably not make it past the final four, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
if they do, it'll be barely.
yeah, like it will be like a very close match. But if they do end up going against like EG for semis, like what I'm saying,
And they're already
and
feeling
and
rocky.
they're
I don't.
and they're still rocky like that, I have no. I don't think there's a way that they will beat EG.
What would be interesting is so I'm predicting Empire first and Immortals second in Group B. That
Yeah.
means Immortals would play G2 in the first round, which they played last time in the last LAN. So
Hmm?
them having a rematch,
I think
and they
G2
played
wins
tough. They
that
played them
easy.
tough. So Immortals
I
could
think
play that
G2
tough.
wins. I think G2 wins that, but at the same time, G2 was also losing to Empire,
Say that again.
and okay. You said that Immortals would be facing against G2 if it's going
Yeah,
by
if
what
it
you're assuming.
hypothetically went that way, yeah.
Now, hypothetically, at the same time, G2 has also been losing to Empire, who plays
They
really,
did
really
tie. To
similar
be
to
fair, they tied.
Immortals.
They tied against Empire.
Okay, yes, but there are no ties. So if it happens to be, if they just happen to be slightly off
Hmm.
and they make a few mistakes, there's a good possibility that Immortals could still win that.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do
I
think
think it'll be.
Immortals
I think if
has
that
a
does
chance at
happen, that'll
upsetting.
be a very. I think that'll be a very good game.
And like
Is there a
hypothetically,
losers bracket
that
in this?
means
I don't
no,
remember.
there's not. There's not none.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
And hypothetically, that would mean Liquid would play Empire, and I think that would be a really fun game to
I think
watch.
that would be a fun game to
That
watch.
would be
It'd be
Definitely.
interesting.
that would probably be one of the most hyped games to watch, other than G2 versus
Oh,
EG.
definitely.
Like I can't think of a more hyped game to watch than that.
Yeah, I think we
I
pretty much
think
gone through.
Reciprocity versus EG would be a pretty big spectator game, just
It
because
would, but they
you
already
watched. Did
play
you watch
each
U.S.
other.
Nationals?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they were kind of rivaling in that with
Hmm.
Cloud9.
I mean, Cloud9 picked them as their rival, but realistically, EG's rival is G2.
Yeah,
Overall, yes, for sure. But I
yeah.
think that
No,
Reciprocity will
like
kind of like.
Reciprocity's rival is EG, not EG. EG's
I would,
rival is
yeah,
not
I'd agree
Reciprocity.
that.
EG has Reciprocity on the back fan, which in the end, if they do fight against each other, may actually hurt them.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I don't think that it will because of how EG has been playing recently. I think that regardless of how Reciprocity is performing, I think that EG will step up their game to the point where they can beat them regardless.
Hmm.
Um, as much as I love Cloud9 and Reciprocity, I still would have to go for EG on that.
Hmm.
I feel bad for this stream. I feel like they're the only team we have not talked about.
I said I was actually initially picking them at
Yeah,
first.
Oh, you're
like,
picking them?
I know I
Oh,
said I was
it
initially
was.
picking them before
oh,
I
is
Yeah.
saw
this?
them
Oh,
play
that doesn't
against
count.
Empire.
And,
I know that's what I was
and
saying. Before I saw them play Empire, and then I was
yeah,
like, they're not beating anyone, dude.
and I said for the exact reason, and I said because that I said if I wasn't going to pick Norengo, I would be picking Lestream.
I think
I'd be
the
picking
the
Penta.
team we're probably disrespecting the most right now is probably Mocket because they did make
Oh
it to
yeah.
LAN last
See,
season.
No,
I'm
we
disrespecting
are
Maka so
we
much
are
I
dis-
forgot that
all
they
of
were
us are
even there.
all of us are disrespecting Mocket.
I'm like,
But
we're not even
we're
talking about the stream. I
we're
forgot that we.
disrespecting Mocket because of the 2-0 and 5 win loss or win draw loss that they
I'm
have.
just disrespecting Market because I don't think they're that strong of a team. I just
Like Mocket has just not been
I
performing
mean,
to the
they
level that
are
they
bottom
should
EU,
be.
correct?
They are 7th.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Who's
obviously any team that makes it into this is comparatively. I just don't. They don't.
Don't get me wrong, they deserve to be there, but you put them against literally any other EU team that is not Team Secret, and they are going to lose.
And the thing is, they're playing Liquid, so Liquid's an amazing,
exactly,
amazing
they're
like
team.
playing two established
okay, you're
teams, like
going
well
from
established.
okay, they lost to every team except for Secret and who else? Do we know who else they?
Might have been Ents.
Okay, so excluding Ents, who isn't even here. So they lost to every other team in EU. You're putting them up against the second place team of Latin America, who has had no issues in any way, shape, or form. They've lost to 2 other teams. They have literally the exact opposite record of them. They are 5-0-2.
Yeah.
So I seriously doubt that Mocket will put up any fight against Liquid.
But even if Mocket beats Liquid, they still have to either face G2 or somehow they'll face an insanely strong
would-
Mantis that just beat G2. Like, there's no way I don't think they're making it out.
I mean,
even if they
if
somehow beat Liquid.
if they beat Liquid, most likely they'd have to play Liquid again because I think Liquid would beat Mantis and then they would play again because I don't think Maka would beat G2. So then
Exactly.
it would be a rematch, and I would take Liquid in a rematch if they
Oh
somehow
yeah.
beat them
Okay,
in
yeah.
the first
Yeah, I
place.
just don't. Even if they do beat Liquid, I just still don't think they're making it out. I just can't
Yeah,
say that they're
no.
making it out.
I think it's the 2 winners play against each other and then the 2 losers play against each other,
Yeah.
right? After the first games.
hmm
So Mocket Team Liquid wins, G2 Mantis, assuming Mantis loses. And like you said, there's the possibility of there's a super strong Mantis that just beats G2 straight up.
But if they are that strong, Maka can't
But
beat them. You know,
if they are that, if they are even putting up a fight against G2 like what they were in that first map, if they're still doing that, I have no doubt in my mind that they will still beat Mocket.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that even no matter what, Mocket has to be a G2 level team. I feel like, right, to get out. Either
Yeah,
G2 or someone who beat G2.
Or Liquid.
It's
Essentially,
not
they have to be able to beat Liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they can't beat Liquid, they cannot get out of groups.
I would say
they're not
compared to
necessarily
every
aiming to be
group,
better than Mantis. They're
there's
aiming to be better
no
than Liquid.
two harder teams to beat to get out of the group than probably Group C.
Which is why I was saying Group C was the group of death. Because it especially for Mocket.
And that's what I'm saying. I would not want to play in that group. I would rather play in Group
because
B.
we don't know how Mantis is doing. I'm not putting my 2 cents on them because they very well could just come out really really strong and just like steamroll. I don't think it's gonna happen, but there's a possibility of it. So, but Mocket has just been underperforming the entire season up to this point. They are just not like they seem even more rocky than G2 does.
Okay, you finish your thought. I'll talk after.
Yeah, like I said, they seem even more rocky than what G2 does. And if G2's doing that bad rocky, what about Mocket then? What are they doing if they're rocky?
Okay, so what I was gonna say is, let's just say if Liquid does beat G2 and Liquid gets number 1 C and then G2 gets 2 C, that would put them in the upper bracket, I believe. Like if it goes the way I think it's gonna go, which would have potential of having G2 versus EG in the finals. So I'm definitely gonna be rooting for Team Liquid out in Group C.
Yeah, you want Liquid to win just so you can see frickin' EG.
because
G2 finals.
while obviously I'm gonna be hyped whenever the G2 and EG play, it's gonna be the hype
If
will
they
get
even end up playing
bigger if
against
they
each
get in the
other.
finals. Yeah, it'll be a
I
disappointment if they don't make it, if they don't play each other.
well,
But
okay. See, the only I think as much as I was saying earlier that I don't think Reciprocity will win, there is still a chance of it. If we do, I think the only teams that can beat EG right now in the entire like Invitational
mhm.
is Empire, G2, Liquid, and maybe Reciprocity. That's a super that's a like a coin flip.
Yeah,
I mean,
Um,
think about Rogue though. Rogue beat EG in the U.S. Nationals.
it was with their
yes,
coach
but that
though.
was it. That was
It was with Gotcha playing versus
that
Geo
was a
though.
Gotcha's a good player. That doesn't really
Yes,
matter.
but
I mean, Gotcha.
Geo, in my opinion,
Geo
is a
is
top 5
so much
player
better.
in a pro
Okay.
league.
I'll give
Geo
you
is
that.
so much better than Gotcha.
Gotcha played really
Gotcha is a
well.
really good coach,
He played well too, like no doubt
and he
he played
played
well.
He
but
surprised me a ton.
Geo is a much better.
Geo's a
Geo
really
is
good player.
ungodly. He is just awesome.
Every player on EG has above like a 1.3 KD this half season. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So like I said, I think the only people that I think that will be or that could be EG are Empire, G2, Liquid, and Reciprocity.
I don't think
If they
Empire. I think
if they
I think EG beats Empire.
I mean,
I'm saying that
I
if
would
they
put
do
money
come up,
on that, but it's gonna be a close game.
it's definitely going to be a close game. I
He's
think
saying
that
that
if
I
they
have a
go up against
chance.
That's
any
true.
of,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that if they go against Liquid Empire or Reciprocity before G2, that there may be a chance that they might not end up playing against G2. And that goes for G2 too, because obviously they're going to be playing against Liquid. I'm confident they're going to be making it at groups,
hmm
but they could go against Empire and get knocked out then. They could go against Reciprocity. I doubt that they will lose to Reciprocity, but there is still a chance for it.
Are you talking
think
about G2? G2's not losing to
Let's talk about
Reciprocity.
G2.
I
No.
don't think it will happen, but who knows? Maybe
They're obviously a
Reciprocity
strong
will
team.
pull it.
Yeah.
Maybe Reciprocity will pull it out of their ass.
All right, so both of you guys
But
picked Fnatic, right, to go to the
Yeah.
get out, right?
yes,
Do you think they even have a chance of beating any
I
team in the
don't think. I
playoffs?
don't think.
I
I don't
don't
think
think
they'll
so.
make it any farther.
They're not making it any further.
All right.
Unless they play, they could maybe beat Liquid, I'm thinking.
hmm
They might be able to also beat Norangu.
Oh, okay. Let's assume they're A2, so they would go against D1.
EG.
Then no, they're losing. 100%.
Then they're losing.
No way.
100%.
No way. Even if they're A1, let's say they're A1. Who are they? They're playing D2 then.
Norangu,
Norangu.
essentially.
I
And
think
then
they could.
they're
I
losing.
think they could do.
I
I
think
think
they
they
lose
could
to
do
that.
that. I'm not saying they would win, but I think that it would be a worthy fight.
I think that they would still lose.
I agree.
Yeah,
I,
maybe.
I do think they would lose that.
I do not think Fnatic is making it first.
All right.
So, and Reciprocity, if I had to choose, I don't think Reciprocity is honestly going to make it any farther than groups either.
So
because
Reciprocity's also they gotta
because
either
if
beat
group
at least
they
Norangu.
have to beat Norangu. Now, I think they could beat Norangu.
I think that's possible.
So you're saying Group
beyond
D
that-
will be Group A no matter who comes out of Group A?
I think
Reciprocity could be-
regardless of who comes out of Group A, I think that Group D is going to beat them.
Okay, I respect
And
that.
even if they don't, let's just say that Reciprocity wins against Norangu. I don't think they're making any further.
Then
Possibly.
semis.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
'cause
that
there's some strong teams.
Because then
in
they
there.
would have to play like an Empire or G2 or something.
Yeah, I mean that's
Exactly.
getting pretty crazy. Or
Um,
EG, I just don't think it's happening.
and
I
then
think that they could make it to top 4, but no further than that.
yeah, and depending on what ends up happening for Group C to B, if if we're assuming G2 is coming out first, they would at least according to my guess, it would be Immortals in second. So that would be G2 Immortals. I think they can beat Immortals simply because they're G2,
and they already beat them.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, that would be a rematch. So that could be a very close game. I think we said this earlier. I think Immortal beating them, but I don't think it's likely. And then that would leave Liquid against Empire. I want to see that game. I want to see that game. I can't say anything. I cannot say anything definitive about that. If I had to choose a team, I would choose Empire. If I had to choose a team, because I just
I gotta pick Liquid in that situation. They beat G2 in the
they
when
they
did they? When was
it
that
was
that they beat G2 and
It
what
was
finals was that?
Atlantic City, I think of season
Yeah,
7.
I just gotta say because of that, they're obviously they were the best in the world that
at
time.
that time.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the same thing though, if you want to, it typically whoever's at the top of EU is top of the world, and I mean the Empire is at
But
this
this
point.
time, that doesn't matter because
Now,
G2. It's only because G2 had an unlucky bad season. If they hadn't, Empire wouldn't be on top.
now was that an unlucky season or was that
This
them
is.
playing bad?
I think this is just a skewed season.
I
It was
think
just
it
a
was a
bad season. They
combination of
played
them
bad, but
playing
it was just
bad and other teams
weird.
catching up. I think it was a
If you're
combination of
talking
both.
about an
Exactly.
average, G2
No,
is still top.
okay, Pengu actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do this because I was watching Pengu's stream and he said this. Essentially, there is if you're looking at it like a line graph, okay, on the
Mhm.
left side you've got skill cap, and then on the bottom you've got time.
Mhm.
And normally it goes up kind of like linearly, you know.
Mhm.
And G2 and EG are normally the two like fastest learning. They're able to abuse the meta as quickly as possible, and that's normally why they're top of the list because
Okay.
they just know how to abuse everything better. This is coming from Pengu's mouth, by the way.
Mhm.
Um, now at this time, because we've been playing the same patch essentially for 6 months now, everybody else has had the chance to catch up, and because they don't have the ability now, because they don't have the ability to abuse the meta as much as they were
Because everyone
beforehand,
else
they're
is now
falling
too.
off because
I
everybody
think
else is doing the same thing. Now, does that make G2 a better team, or does it make them better at abusing the meta?
it means that I think it had more to do with the
Or
gun
does it
skill.
make them or does it make it better at learning quick enough? Now
I
don't get me
want to
wrong.
say
Okay, you
I
go,
want to
Ray.
say that the sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I
No,
want to
no.
just before you get too much further,
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
I want to say that the reason G2 didn't do as good this season is because they don't have as much fragging potential. Because they're a really good team tactically, but when you put them into a meta where it's all fragging, they can't hold up as well. Where EG can, and that's I think the reason they're not playing as well because they on
I could
defense
agree
at
with
least, or I mean
that,
sorry on
but at the
attack at
same time,
whatever they don't have the
we have seen 4 of the 5. Fabian himself will say that he has crappy aim.
yeah
Everybody else on G2, Pengu, Kanto, Eunice, Goga. I don't think Goga is like as good at aim as the other three, but
Mhm.
Eunice, Pengu, and Kanto have plenty of capability to frag.
yeah, but I just still
They
think
have
that
done it, but they have done it before, and I have no problem seeing them do it again.
I just think this isn't their meta. I think it's just this season isn't their meta. I think if the meta
Now,
was different, they would still be playing very well.
if the meta was different, that then we would go back to what we were talking about earlier, where they would be abusing it. Would they be better at abusing the meta because they learned it faster? They'd be better at okay, essentially the way I'm looking at it is, are they a better team because they are learning faster and they are able to abuse things quicker, or because they're actually outperforming their opponent?
I think
Now,
the
don't get me
first one
wrong,
usually.
they do outperform their opponents. Don't get
I
me
think this
wrong,
is the first season they've had to
but
really show
this
that.
is the first season that they've had to rely on outperforming the
Yeah,
opponents.
because before, like you're saying, they were just getting the strats down and okay, this is what
Exactly.
wins, and now they have to go.
So
Oh, that we have to actually step up now and play
exactly,
like
because
play like we had
there's
to.
no getting better with the strats. They're just stuck.
Okay.
And I think
Now,
I think they need to fix that in terms of just siege.
well, it'll be fixed the beginning of next season whenever they can actually or whenever Cade and Nomad come
It is after the
to
6
Pro League.
Invitational, the second half. They
It is
are
after six
allowed. Mhm.
invitational they will be allowed. So after that, I think G2 will start just destroying Europe again. I have zero I fully expect G2 to just start smashing Europe again once
Mhm.
Cade and Nomad start coming out
Yeah,
because
but
the
then
skill
what
cap has
happens in a
gone
few
up.
months? Do you
Well,
think it goes back to what we're seeing?
in a few months, hopefully by the end of the sixth invitational, the new ops would already be out. So the next 3 months after that, while they're still playing in Pro League, the next 3 months they would have the new ops out then. So new ops would come in like normally for them. It would just be 3 months later, at least into Pro League.
Okay.
So basically, I think this is a very weird season in general, or at least first half of the season, simply because there were new ops. So
Yeah.
everybody was at the top of their game for the strats. It's literally just outperforming your opponent.
That is like I
So
do think Pengu did make a good point because if you really look at the teams that are at the top of their standings, G2, I mean not G2, EG, obviously plenty of fragging potential.
yeah,
Empire,
outperforming your opponent.
literally the definition of fragging potential.
Exactly.
Immortals in Liquid, fragging potential.
Can you imagine
Empire.
how strong
Lestream,
EG would be?
fragging potential. Like Reciprocity, fragging potential.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
Ninjas in
oh,
Pajamas, fragging potential. And if you look at the teams that are actually like kind of struggling right now, that usually are
it's the
really,
more
really sound
strategy
strategic
focus.
teams.
Yeah,
Rogue,
the
G2,
strategic.
Secret.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the, and I think simply because of how weird the season has been, it's going to shift back once
Hmm.
new people start getting into
And
the game again.
once crouch and lean is nerfed too, if they do
Oh
that,
yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah,
gonna
no,
affect it.
that'll also affect a bunch. We have no idea if they're going to do anything with that.
Didn't they say they were
We know
working on it?
They
we
are
know they're
working on
working
it.
on it,
You don't
but
know
we
when
don't know
though.
what's
No.
happening or when it's going to happen. Which is because for all we know, it could not happen until year 4 season 2.
Hmm.
And by then, now if it happens in year 4 season 2, oh okay, new ops and they just changed this. There's going to be a huge meta shift, and I think G2 will come out on top of there, easy. Even then, I think like Rogue might be able to beat EG at that point. Obviously, this is looking pretty like another 6 months and whatever. But Rogue, we obviously know them as a very sound, uh, like strategical team
I feel like
that learns
recently too
everything
they've
very
been
quickly.
strong.
Yeah,
Until
that
like
learns
really
everything.
yeah.
Learns everything very quickly. And if I'm correct, Pengu also said the top like 3 teams at learning everything the fastest was G2, EG, and Rogue.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So if you're taking that into consideration, I think, at least in my opinion, one of the main reasons why G2 wins so much, or why they beat everybody so much, is just simply because they're a better strategical team than everybody else, not necessarily anything else. Now, don't get me wrong, that's definitely a very good thing to have. I would rather be a better strategical team than
Yeah.
fragging
Yeah,
like
in this
Empire.
game for sure.
I think it shows a lot more skill to be strategically sound than it does to be mechanically sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like quoting Pingu again, I'm pretty sure, or it could have been another pro. I'm pretty sure a pro said this, but it was like 10% aim, 90% strats, and like game
Exactly.
knowledge.
And that's the issue with this season, is that the strats, it isn't that like balance anymore. It's like 90% aim, 10% strats.
Yeah, because
I think an
I do
issue for
agree that
G2.
strats aren't like because when G2, obviously G2's been dominant since year 2, and it was because I believe every team was was always surprised with what G2 would come out with, especially at LAN. Like they would just completely blindside people with like the strats they were
Exactly.
bringing out. And now that this whole season is just like you're seeing
It's
essentially the
just
same
stagnant.
thing. Like G2 is like readable. Like people can like read their patterns. Like before it was just like they bring out something new every week, and it's just like what are we supposed to do?
Exactly.
But
I
now
think
it's
the
like
big issue.
it's really easy. It's not, I shouldn't say really easy, but it's you're able to read G2 now, and I
Yeah,
definitely
because they have a really
think
common
they're
playstyle once
not
you figure it out.
yeah, they're not the Titans, or they still are Titans,
Exactly.
but they're not
Once you figure it out, that's the thing. Is because normally
unbeatable.
after having all the people added in, the skill cap increases, and they get to that skill cap quicker than everybody else. So they just,
Hmm.
they can do these things, and other
Yeah.
people just simply can't.
Like G2 had showed the roadmap to get to that level, but now I don't think they can. They're kind of like they're stuck because there's nothing
Exactly.
more they can
There's
really
nothing else that they
do.
can really
Yeah.
do. They're just
And I think
stalled.
other teams have caught up to them, and now they're on a level playing field of strats and aim, because obviously they have some of the best aimers and they have some of the best
Exactly.
stratters. But now that you can't really come up with anything innovative, or at least from what we've
Exactly.
seen yet, I don't know. They're probably gonna come up with something crazy.
They're saving
But
strats.
everyone else is like on their same level of strats now, and have already been on that same level of aim. So now
Yeah.
Yeah,
everyone's on the equal or level playing field.
exactly like what you were saying earlier. Everybody's already been mechanically like skilled
Hmm.
equally. It's not that it's not that makes a difference in Pro League,
No, it's the
or it's not. At least it wasn't for
it
every
is
other
now.
season. it
was
wasn't for
year
every other
one. I
season.
think definitely aim was more. It was definitely a more prominent thing. But
Oh
once
yeah,
year two started, it was definitely just like who had the best strats. I think
exactly. Like, well, okay, year one was very, you know,
vanilla.
yeah, exactly. But once year two
It
came
was
through,
ranked, is what it was. It was just really good ranked players,
At a
pretty much,
to a
right?
yeah,
point,
to a point. I mean, they had to come from somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the really big issue with EG is their roster. Like, from Fabian, he
You mean
said that
G2?
is that I say EG? Yeah, I
I
meant G2.
believe you said EG, but
Yeah, well, I meant G2. It's,
yeah.
because Fabian said that they have 4 of their members are dragging them down, and I think that's I think
Okay,
that
no,
was
that's
a joke.
no, that's definitely just Fabian being
No, I
Fabian.
know, I'm
Okay.
totally joking.
No,
Clone
Fabian would
Flavian.
clone himself 4 times and play that,
Yeah. No,
and
I'm
then
joking,
and
but
then he
Okay.
would go to having the worst aim in pro league.
yeah. Okay, but how strong do you think EG would be if you had Kanto Raketti move to America and play for EG? Like
Oh
Well, who would
God.
he replace though?
I don't know,
Because you
but I'm
can't
just saying.
replace Canadian because he's the IGL.
Okay, I
Okay.
mean, if you
Here, wait.
I
replace
feel like the
someone,
only
I'll look
person
at
he could
EG's.
replace is MBK.
what about Young? If you're just going for
No,
fragging potential, Young isn't a super fragger. He's a
Young's a
great player,
support
but
player though.
he is a support player. But what if you put
Exactly.
Kanto
No.
in
No.
instead, and
You
maybe?
you you would be trading out MVK.
I think the only person you
Okay.
could trade out is MBK. Maybe Geo, but
Now
you're.
the only thing I would
But I
say
don't think
about
that would make. I don't think. I think that would be a lateral move
exactly,
Okay.
I
if you
think
trade
I
out
think
Geo.
okay, they can't get rid of Necrox. They can't keep Young. They
Yeah,
definitely can't get rid of Nadian.
yeah.
Okay. Young
What
and
about this? What
Necrox
if you
are the
put?
two like hard support players for them.
What if
They're
you
not gonna get
took?
rid of.
What if you got rid of Young or Necrox though, and you moved someone like Geo onto support, and then you put Kanto on the
Mm,
frag, and so one of your support players has that fragging
I feel like
potential?
that just would shake up. Like losing a
That would
support
mess up a lot of
player,
stuff.
I think is a
Exactly.
lot more detrimental to a team
That
than
that would
losing
Yeah,
be
I
a
get that.
fragger.
like
Because I think a
that would be
fragger is a lot easier
losing
to integrate to a team.
exactly like take just for instance because a lot of I don't remember, is it Skies or Laxing that plays Smoke all the time?
It was guys.
Okay, any team that had Skies on it, go look at them while they had Skies on it, and then look at them after they lost their player.
Okay.
But to be fair, he
They
doesn't play Skies on
were,
this team anymore.
I mean,
It's
yes,
retro.
but like prior to that, it
Yeah.
was like any team that like just loses that like one player that they can rely their role is, it changes everything within the team. If they have to make really big changes like that, it's gonna mess with a lot of
Well,
stuff
you could
internally.
even just look at Evil Geniuses themselves when they lost Young that one season.
Oh well, yeah,
Remember that
that
one
they were
season, year two, they
awful.
lost Land. I mean, they lost Young, and they literally didn't even make. I don't know. I think they almost got relegated that season.
Oh
Yeah, they
wow.
they were awful.
And they and Young, I mean, made Land with Rogue. I mean,
Was
they
that whenever they?
lost.
That was when they still had BC, right? That
Uh,
was
yes, it was BC,
that
and
was BC, Nadian,
I think it was
Necrox, NBK.
Jarvis. Yeah, it was, I mean, MBK was on there. MBK and
Yeah,
Necros have been on there forever.
yeah, and obviously
With
Nadian.
Indian,
So
yeah.
and then it would be BC, and then I don't know who the
I
fifth
think it was
was.
BC and Jarvis.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah,
So
they almost
like
got relegated though when they
it
lost
was
their
it
hard
was
support players with Young.
exactly like you need those players because if you can't rely on those players,
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
just kind of
if
boned.
EG is going to clutch around, and if I see they're in the 2v5 and I see Necrox and Young still alive, I think they can still win it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're so good at clutching
Like
rounds. They're just hard
it
support, and they're good
regardless
at it.
regardless of it, even then like Young and Necrox, in my opinion, have just as much fragging potential as Geo or Nadian. They just don't actually need to use it because of what the role their plays.
Yeah,
Whenever they need to use it, they have to still.
yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
But
put
they
Young
just
on
don't need to
BB, he's
use it.
nuts.
Exactly. Like
Put
there are
Necrox on Jackal, he's nuts.
exactly like you can put them on these roles and they will fulfill them no problem. It's
Mhm.
just the fact that they need to have these other roles filled, and if they're not, then everything just kind of goes to crap.
I think for what they have everyone in the perfect spot right now.
Oh yeah,
I would
definitely.
agree with that. Yeah.
They're a really well balanced team.
Yeah, with who they have, I think they definitely
Mhm.
have them in their correct roles. I mean,
I think the only
100%.
other team that like even matches with how like well everyone's in their certain roles is probably Empire.
Oh
'Cause-
yeah.
yeah, and yeah, they're
I mean,
EG's, in my opinion, should be the favorite to get out or to win the tournament, the entire thing. But that's
Yeah, they're
speaking
always my
really far
favorite
in
to do
advance.
anything.
No, GT's should always be the favorite.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm just talking about personal preference. They're my
Oh,
favorite team
I
by
mean,
far.
yes, I agree. Obviously, I'm EG fan, but
EG
I definitely
fanboy.
think this is their tournament to lose, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Yo, yeah. Especially considering how rocky G2 have been. So
Mhm.
if like I think the only reason that EG has a reason to lose if G2 is, you know,
Mhm.
back to old G2 by the time they fight.
They're pretty much, other than random Fnatic, they're the only team that has G2 or EG's number is G2.
Yeah, pretty much.
Literally, the last 2 lands was against G2, and G2 won.
And exactly. And G2 won by a landslide.
Yeah,
Like to me.
the
Like
last 2 majors, it was EG, G2 in finals, and G2 won.
now
And then
the only
in
thing I have to say
AC, they
about
also
that
beat them.
is at that time were G2 still above the mark in like the skill cap? Were they still be able to were they still abusing the
I
were
mean,
they still able to abuse the meta better than what EG was?
definitely 100%.
So now I think that level playing field is leveled out. I
Mhm.
think that if we do see that, that is going to be a much closer match,
Mhm.
especially compared to last year.
Yeah.
Considering it was like a 7-1 last year or something stupid, or a
I
6-1.
mean,
I think.
it was a
Yeah,
it was
it
a
was up to 6.
3-0, but I mean, most of the games, I don't think any
Yeah, but
game got closer than like a 4-7.
yeah, they were very one-sided.
Yeah. I think the closest match was like a 4-7. I think that most of them were like 7-3 or 7-3s or like 7-2s or it was
I'm
not
pretty
good.
sure I saw 7-1, but I could be
It
wrong.
could have been, honestly. Not one game was close. I think when one game was somewhat close because you feel like, oh, maybe EG could come back, but
I
yeah,
mean,
none
what
of
was
them
the
were.
last tournament that they fought or that they
Major
played against
Paris
each other?
Major, Paris Major. Well, yeah, Paris Major. Yeah. They played at Invite, and then they played at AC, and then they played at Paris Major, and then
Okay.
the last land was Brio,
On
which they didn't get to play against each other.
Wikipedia, let's see. Obviously, it was a 3-0, but they don't want to tell me what the actual things were. Wikipedia, why? Where were you? Nope, don't want to tell me. Okay.
Well, I guess you guys wanna wrap up this video? Call it
Yeah,
a vid.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
am good with that.
Yeah.
I think it's about an hour that we got.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
think it
The
was.
timer's
I
at
think it was like an hour and a half.
yeah, timer's at 127.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so we've been on for quite a while.
A while. I mean, I think we could honestly just say that's like our complete
What?
like our full thing for like the whole,
Oh yeah. I mean,
because
we
we
almost
went
essentially went
we
all the way.
essentially just
We went all
over
the way to the
everything.
finals.
We
Yeah.
went all the way to
I
finals.
mean,
We
I
said what
don't
we wanted
I
to
don't
see.
think I
We
don't
didn't necessarily
I
see
don't think we
what was
I mean,
there.
I don't think we definitively picked one, but I'm picking EG to win it all.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys all picking EG as well?
For sure.
All right.
Yeah. At least as of right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Uh,
I definitely I wouldn't
it,
mind like going back over it after the group stages and being like and having like
after the group
obviously
stages, depending
yeah
on like changing it based on who's actually there.
yeah for sure. And I mean, some like what if EG struggles and they barely make it out, or what if
Yeah, something to that
someone like
extent.
Ninjas in Pajamas or Space Station Gaming like surprises everyone and like 2-0s are in their group, or
Yeah.
Mantis
What's
FBS
kind of
somehow gets
interesting,
out.
I remember this was in the Siege documentary. You put G2 on like a stage where they can lose, that's when they do the best. Because there's no pressure on them right now, technically, because everyone expects them to lose. You know what I mean? Everyone's going, oh, hey, they had bad games, they might not win, so there's no pressure for them to perform well. They can just do whatever they
That's
want.
true. I mean,
That is true.
they
They're not
definitely have I
underdogs,
think
but they're not
that has
expected.
given them a chip on their shoulder for sure, for sure.
Yeah. See, but at the same time, that's what it was throughout like the last like half of this first half of the season.
Yeah.
The entire time now don't get me wrong, they did better in the second half of the half, but even after like the first game where they lost the secret, everybody was like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Hmm.
you
For
know,
sure.
and they still continued to
Do bad.
underperform.
Yeah. Do bad. Underperform's a much better way to put that because they did not do bad.
They didn't do bad, but
They
they
just didn't. They
definitely
underperform.
they
for them being
underperformed but their
undefeated
team.
all for like the first like what was it like maybe 8 or 9
They've been
weeks.
undefeated since they
No, I'm saying like in
began.
the last just like the last pro league season, like they
No, I know. I'm
didn't drop
joking.
a match until like maybe week 10 or 11. Like
Okay.
it was that like they
And
were
then they
that
lost their
dominant.
first match in the beginning of the next season. Like
Yeah.
it's
Like yeah, they pretty much steamrolled through the pro league season. They only lost to one team, and I think they drawed one team. They
yeah,
steamrolled through
and
LAN. They crushed FaZe in the finals, and then they're dominant as G2, and then
exactly.
they lose
And then
Secret, and everyone's like,
they
wait,
lose
what?
to the 8th place EU team.
They're like,
The
everyone,
only win that they have is against G2.
yeah.
That's just. They'd be like us beating G2 right now.
Exactly.
Oh, hidden
No,
society faces.
I don't think we're eighth place pro league yet.
No, I know.
So
You
it
know
would
what I
be
mean.
even worse.
Oh, here comes hidden society.
Yeah.
Just beat G2.
Yeah, easy.
Everybody starts beating G2.
Just a random casual team.
Random casual team beats G2.
People playing Terrorist Hunt accidentally beat G2. Just like it's just all the
Oh, I
headlines.
thought I was playing T-Hun.
Like New York Times, like New York Square, all the like or Times Square, all the like headlines are just random people beating G2. You know,
Oh my god.
someone playing Steep beats G2. Just like
No, just imagine like a 5-stack going into T-Hunt, and then they just somehow randomly get queued against G2. They have
they
no
win.
idea, and then they win. And they're just like, huh?
Well, you
What was
can't roll
this?
against someone in T-Hunt.
No, it's
Exactly.
they get
That's exactly what I'm saying.
they
It's like,
accidentally
how
get
dumb it
invited.
would be.
All right. Okay,
No,
let's
it
call
was a
that a
special
video.
thing.
Let's end it there. Thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, this was a crazy long
14?
video. Uh, leave a comment if you have any opinions on what we said, and have a good rest of your day.